All right, everyone. Welcome to the Colorado Rocky Mountain Spa and Wellness Association Wellness Wednesday, third installment of Mindful in the Madness with Jessica Waclawski. We are so honored to have you back again for the third time. I don't think you need a major introduction at this point because everybody knows who you are and you have been so helpful in our prior conversations, and I look forward to today. So I'm just going to let you get after it and start helping us work on our mindfulness and also working on, mental wellness and of the heart. So there you have it.
All right, perfect. Yeah, I'll give a little bit of intro because I don't know everybody. And so I am here in Vail, Colorado, in the Vail Valley, and I own the practice of Vail Relationship Institute. And so my focus as a therapist is working with individuals and couples to really heal and repair and strengthen relationships. And we also know that, we heal together. And that's why spaces like this, where you're going to get more from showing up live than people who will watch anything pre-recorded, because just energetically, the fact that we're coming together, we already have more of a sense of connection. So good for you for showing up live. But we do a lot with and growing with groups and more community-oriented space to have conversations like we'll dip into tonight. Because I just see that's where really the magic happens and shifts start to take place in community. So in the chat box, I already posted a link for you to explore and play with. This is a really beautiful community. It's not just a group. It's not a therapy group. It's really building community for people who are wanting more, really. Just more depth, more connection, especially at that more emotional kind of soulful level. If that calls to you and you in Idaho, like, you're welcome. We have people joining from wherever. So it's all virtual based, and we have groups for both women and men. And then we come together. Like after this tonight, I'm hosting the men and women's meeting, and oh my God, it's just the best thing ever to have both men and women like opening up our hearts and getting into vulnerable territory. So especially now through the rest of the month. So I really encourage you to give it a try. Normal to feel nervous about joining something like that, but you won't regret it. You won't. But with that, I'll jump in here. I'm really, I think, I don't like just talking at people. I want to engage you. I want you to be participating with me. Otherwise, this is just boring for me. So I want you in this paying attention. If you can, protect this next hour for yourself. Put your phones away if you don't need them, and let's just really focus in on you, each other, and kind of create some sacredness around this space. That's part of being mindful, okay, is being present. That's really all it is being as conscious, as present in the moment that we can be. And that sadly is such a rarity with how much, technology is part of our lives and pulling us and us. Our attention is just being demanded in so many directions. So it truly is a sacred space. I use that word with intention when we can just focus on one thing. Yeah, just begin to feel it. It might even feel weird. You might even feel a little anxious about it. But just begin to kind of just settle into this space, okay? Today, I want to talk about, keeping our conversation. For those who were with me last time, we started to dig into stress, what we do with it, and how to meet it with more compassion, to let it just be, right? There's so much out there that tells us how you feel is wrong if you don't feel comfortable, and how to maybe release our grip on needing to feel anything different than whatever we're feeling right now. It's kind of, radical and maybe strange to think about it that way. And so as we dig here, I want to just invite a pause, right? This mindful pause for us to really check in. And I want you to think about, again, this scale of like 1 to 10. 10 being the highest, 1 being the lowest. In this moment, right here, right now, to what level is your stress? Just name your number, write it down. I invite you to type it into the chat box. It's a great tool for engagement. So what number, 1 through 10, are you stress-wise in this moment? Yeah, pretty high. So we got a lot of 8s. 8's my favorite number, so that's fabulous. Okay, great. Yeah, get Louise in here. I think she should just, yeah. I mean, she's right there. Get her in the picture so we can see her. Come on. Yeah, if you feel that. Okay. So, yeah, just as you connect to that stress, now think about, well, what's the one thing? What's like the top thing in this moment again that's causing me this distress? And you might need to like write out or think about all the things and then really kind of hone in on, well, right now it's really this. And help me understand by, again, like typing in maybe what that is. Is it the fires? Is it COVID? Is it your relationship? What's causing these higher stress numbers? Mm-hmm. And Angie, if you were to pull back another layer there, right? Fires, but what is it about the fires? Right? Why is the fire stressful? The fire just is fire. So why is it stressful to you? In John, do you just want to show face? Uncertainty. Yeah. All the unknowns. All right, you're driving. Don't get distracted driving. I just like calling people out on that. Yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah, he's in uncertainty, right? So from that, I'm really feeling stress, anxiety, right? Where it's future oriented. And so that anxiety pulls us into, oh my God, what's going to happen? And guys, like just in my practice and talking with people and feeling the energy around us, I felt a big shift hit end of July into August where people were like, oh, wait, it's not over. It's like almost like summertime, Colorado summertime. We love it. There's so much to play outside, all of it. And we got this like little delusion of like normal. And then more restrictions, we get the fire hitting, all this other stuff compounded, and back to school. My goodness. I mean, parents, I try to empathize, but I just think that's got to be extra stressful. And then, so many of us, especially who live in resort oriented towns, the impending winter season of that unknown. And what's that going to look like when so much of our economy really is based on that tourism? So, right. I think I just am trying to help you understand you're not alone. And it's almost hitting in a deeper way. There's that like extra letdown of, oh, I thought like it was going to get better. I thought by this point maybe we'd be on the up and up and the out and out, and it's not really feeling that way, is it? I forgot to, I don't know if I've said this in the other meetings, but if there's anything I'm saying that resonates with you, I like this. This is what we do at Mountain Women. We do this kind of, yeah, same, same. That's what that means. Or you can type same, same. It just helps me know, like, it was what I'm saying driving, or is it falling flat? Because if it's falling flat, I want to shift gears. Okay. So again, just, yeah, it helps me know. Where we're at and if we're jiving here. And so, okay, so I'm getting, okay, this is fitting for you all. This is resonating. And so just feel that a little bit, feel that little bit of connection there too of, oh, you feel this way too, right? There's a little bit of like relief just with the knowing and the experience that I'm not actually alone in this. Because with that high of stress numbers, what happens is we can really start to get kind of caught away in our own stuff. And mom, I will work really hard not to say anything inappropriate, but it might slip out. I'm gonna try. I'm gonna try really hard. I'm like, okay, ears, little ears, got it. Um, so, right, like we can get caught in our stuff. Um, and really think like we're alone, like nobody feels this bad, nobody's really that worried like I am. I look out and I see everybody else having a fun time, and they don't seem as affected. But look around, like, okay, similar situations, we're not alone, everybody's feeling this at some level. And the folks that maybe are telling you they're not are just really good at avoiding and distracting. And that's not to say or take away from people's joy and happiness. But again, mindfulness is being present and conscious and real and honest. We can't be mindful if we're not honest about what's happening in our hearts. There's a lot of bypassing in spiritual wellness industry. There's a lot of it. And I think personally kind of needs to be put in check of you need to feel good all the time. I don't think that's wellness. I don't think that's honest, and I don't think that's mindful. And so where is the space for us just to feel what we're feeling and connect there and be honest about how we're doing, especially, my goodness, right now in life. And whatever, your home relationships, your work relationships, your personal relationships, all of them are hungry for honesty. Who resonates with that? Who's like, I just want some real talk, man. Like, just even in social scrolling that we all do, it's like, oh yeah, you can just feel and sense the BS. See, I told you I'm working really hard not to say the word. And I think that's just so refreshing. You can almost feel like I can see smiles, some laughter, right? Like, oh yeah, like let it go. Like, oh, I can be real a little bit. Thank God. I'm just looking at the chat box a little bit. I can get a little carried away. And we can also get sucked in to the heavy. So there's this thing called equanimity. It's a cool kind of Buddhist mindful word. And it's about holding all of it. That it doesn't have to be so extreme, always happy, oh, so sad and heavy and serious, right? And it's finding room to kind of hold all of it and not being so attached to it. That, yeah, I'm pretty stressed right now. Interesting. I can feel stressed and not be so entangled in it. And maybe I can feel stressed and feel joyful. That's kind of wild, right? If we really get curious about the state of our hearts, man, like it's like a 1,000-piece puzzle with all these different pieces. Yeah, no problem. Start dinner. And notice that we can get so tunnel vision. The higher our stress goes, that means the higher our fear is. And what fear does is it puts us in a tunnel subconsciously. It's part of how we're wired. It's part of the, survival mode is like, whoa, I am stressed. I am scared. I am anxious and depressed. And it's like, it convinces you that's all you are. You're just this one big, scary, heavy feeling. But when we actually slow down and like loosen up a little bit, we can actually start to realize, well, there's more to this. There's more to me. Is this making sense? Yeah. Yeah, but when we're stressed, at 8s and 9s, whoa, do you feel that? Like, it just like, oh my God, I can't get out. It's like Eisenhower Tunnel just keeps going and going and going. And then kicks in hello anxiety. Like, when's this going to end? Oh my God, what's this going to be like in November and December? Has everybody seen the memes of the faces of like the months of COVID? Where it's like, like March, we're like having kind of fun, like, ooh, vacation, this one might be nice. And then like, it just gets like worse. And people are like already projecting into like what September and October are going to look like. It's just kind of funny, but right, so we can get so attached, number one, to like the heavy, dark, serious feelings and forget there's like all these lovely friends over here are like, well, there's some moments of joy and happiness, and it's not all that. And so I want you to think about, I want to give you just like 30 seconds here to contemplate, and then we're going to do some group sharing, okay? Because that's where we really open up and get in there. Holly's excited. I want you to think about maybe in the last week, what is something you feel you've done well? What is something you feel you've done well? Doesn't have to be the biggest thing in the world, just your own, like, you know what? I made my bed. That would be one for me. I made my bed 3 days in a row. That is not normal for me. Day 4, I looked at the bed and said, the kid's gone. I said, fuck that. Yeah, I'm like, no, but I was conscious. I was very mindful about not making my bed in that moment. So let's open it up. Let's just bounce around, share like, what is it? What's something you're like, you know what? I did this well. Let's own it. Angie, you kick us off.
So the 2 words that came to my mind when you asked that question were not much. Yeah.
And then what?
It's been a tough week. A roller coaster of emotions of I'm gonna lose my house. No, I'm fine. No, I'm gonna lose everything. No, I'm fine. I did make my bed and I have worked out every day, but those are very normal things for me. It's not like anything above and beyond, but at least I maintained that.
Great. You maintained. That's huge. So really, like, say that again, like, as we kind of, massage that of like, you know what, I maintained my routine and schedule that really helps me feel good and well. Can you just kind of own it and say it?
I maintained.
Perfect. Yeah. All right. Jump in here.
Yeah, there you go. I made my bed every day this week. It's been the only constant for a while is make the bed, and then you can say you've done one thing, and if it goes downhill from there, I did one thing. So a very little thing.
Awesome. You're inspiring me.
I've done it every day for like a month.
That's impressive.
And the kids.
And the kids.
And the kids. So everybody's bed is made every day, and then after that, it's anyone's guess how it goes.
I like that maintain though. You've maintained.
I've maintained the bad situation.
Holly, do you have something?
For me, I actually feel like I accomplished a lot because I put a ton of things on our website and I figured it out all on my own. So that's a big accomplishment for me because I'm learning a lot of that part on the fly.
Yeah.
So, the little marketing stuff and the flyers, those are easy when you have something called Canva. That's my sidekick, but the website thing's been a big deal. I added new board members. I posted our first job posting, so that was good. Like created a whole page for it and everything. So yeah, I mean, for me, that's been the biggest accomplishment for my week.
Great.
Yeah.
All right, just jump in.
I'm gonna tag on to everybody who's made their bed. At first I thought the exact same thing. I was like, not much. I totally resonated with you, Angie, on feeling like I haven't actually done that much. But then I looked back at the week and I forgot that I spent all day Saturday writing thank you notes. I just got married in the last year, and I've been putting off the thank you notes for everybody who took the time to travel to come to a destination wedding, and finally got that done. So that was a nice moment of gratitude, and it's really exciting.
Oh, that's huge. Oh, that's awesome. I love that.
That's it for me.
I'll pop in there.
Yeah.
I realized we were talking in the last week or so. I have seen a staff member or two leave and have successfully seen them transition out, while also getting a couple new staff members in and getting them pointed in the right direction.
That's awesome. Thank you, John.
Oh, by the way, I do meditate and stretch every morning, but I've been doing that for about 4 months now. I'm super excited about that.
You're maintaining too. I mean, really, that's a lot, especially when stress and chaos hits. That's when a lot of those wellness practices are harder to sustain, but that's where when they're needed most. So that's beautiful, guys. That's really a testament to you. Alexandra, what about you? What's something you feel like you've just done well?
I think something I've done well is just help my sister lately. We're driving her to college tomorrow in San Diego, so we've just kind of been getting her all ready to transition. And just like anyone, I mean, transitions are hard for both of us, kind of leaving each other. So I think being a support system for her is something I've done well.
Oh, I love that. Thank you. What about you, Marcella? Ooh, I'm sorry if I said your name bad.
Oh, that's also good. For me, I'd say I've been eating a lot healthier.
Oof. Awesome. I love that. I don't know if I can say the same. Y'all are inspiring me. Brooke, are you with us? Do you want to share something that you've just done well in the last week? Okay. She left the scene. She's out on the beach.
Yeah, wouldn't that be nice? I think she's calling in from work. I told her that she should call in no matter where she is, and if she has to step away, she can. Yeah.
Sure, not a problem. No, that's good. And Tambra wrote in the chat box that creative with my work being a motivator for change. So if she's able to join us, I'd love to hear more about that. But I want you to just, again, a little bit of contemplation, self-reflection, and consider what this was like. Just feel it out, feel it in your body of what was it like to first, hear the question, and then also to speak about what happened in your body when you spoke about something you've done well recently. Could just a few people kind of share about that experience? So much joy. Oh.
Yeah. I the same thing. That was the first thing that came to my mind, was like, it's joy. Like, it's a sense of pride, right? Without being prideful, right? That can, be your double-edged sword too. But I think it's a bit of both. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think you're touching on there, Holly, like the difference of like egoic pride and being heartfelt, like I'm really proud of me and other people. It is a different flavor. And yeah, Amanda, when you kind of dropped in and realized like, oh my God, I did all these thank you notes. I mean, it radiated from you. And how interesting, right? That you had that experience of, no, I didn't do anything, like nothing much. What's up with that? Why? That's so the typical go-to. Like anytime I kind of work with this kind of exercise, that's usually our quick kind of like, oh God, nothing. There's so let's get curious about that. Let's get curious about what gets in the way of us realizing what might be going, well, and how I'm showing up, what's something that I've done that has gone, pretty good. What kind of blocks that for you?
I don't know if this is something, well, I'm sure it's something that just we're kind of taught throughout generation after generation after generation. It's like one of those systemic issues, but like women are almost like expected to just be apologetic about everything. I've been seeing a lot more in this women's movement lately, of course, with people, instead of saying sorry, you're late. Oh, I'm so sorry, I'm late. Just say thank you for waiting for me, kind of a thing. Like, just sort of changing that mindset and stop apologizing for you. Stop apologizing for your baby steps, or maybe you went backwards. Who cares? You know what I mean? Like, it's not a big deal. So stop apologizing for what you're doing unless it is harmful to someone else.
Sure.
Or for yourself. But I mean,
you're noticing there's this kind of I guess there's a culture of being apologetic, like not to step forward and say, I did this really great thing.
Mm-hmm.
and kind of exude or express joy and pride to kind of tone it down and not put myself forward.
That's a hard
yeah.
I mean, everyone here that knows me, this gal in particular, I've known her forever. And, some of the, spa directors and operators here on this call know that I am like a very, like, I'm up here. When I'm excited about something and passionate about something, I am like all in. And I'm like very effervescent. But in business, that has caused me some trouble. Like, you always have, no disrespect to the men, but I know John owns this type of, like, he apologizes for the men that behave this way because he does not. But like this whole idea that, oh, she's just too much. She's just too much. Oh my gosh. Yeah. How can you have that much energy and excitement over something? Something must be wrong. You must not be smart enough, So, and I'm sure there's plenty of other women on this call and not on this call who may listen to this later on that experience and have experienced the same thing where you're just like, you're told to be down here. You have to be level-headed and you can't be passionate about anything. God, you are too much, and that's why I love you. You're my soulmate. You're my spa mate.
Spa mate. John, I'm curious. I think you were still driving or transitioning, and so I wasn't sure if was this difficult for you when you first heard the question of, hey, what's something you've done well recently? Did you have a similar experience to like, ooh, not much, or was it different for you?
Wow, good question. I think anytime, we're asked something like that, it's easy to brush it off. I would agree with you completely on that. My first thought, I don't know, I like to count my accomplishments as well as own my failures, and my staff would tell you that I tell them flat out is, shout your successes, make sure you own those and be proud of those, but make sure you own your failures or your challenges as well, because that's where we can learn and grow also. Mm-hmm. So no, I can always think of something, and as again Holly would say, being my mind partner over there, if you want an opinion, you're going to get it. I always have one, and I'll share it all the time.
Yeah. So great. I just wanted to kind of check in because I didn't have you live here with us, and here, right? Like, it's interesting. So notice, like, if you felt more like, that is a easier, thing for me to do and honor about myself. I think that's a real, I think that's a strength to wellness and well-being, is not losing sight of what have I done well. And some days it might be making the bed or consciously choosing not to. And that's maybe right. Like, what are we doing? How are we being conscious of it? What am I actively choosing rather than just doing and going through the motions? Because that's mindless behavior that actually causes more stress. The longer we stay out of consciousness in the present, the more stressful it is. We're given these 5 beautiful senses and maybe more to experience life. But we can't experience life if we're not paying attention. And so we do get kind of numbed out. Anxiety builds, depression happens when we're not feeling alive. Right? Kind of makes sense. Like, oh. And yet we do get in these grooves of just going. I was in my yoga class this morning, and I loved how she was, drawing emphasis to notice how you got from, your downward dog into your, warrior one. How did you get there? Were you present? Did you notice? And I was like, nope. I was somewhere, I was in this meeting thinking about this. What else shows up for you around what gets in the way of me connecting to what I've done well?
So for me, when everybody was talking about the things that they've accomplished and felt proud of, I was thinking about the different things that I've managed to get done over the last couple of days. And I had borrowed a bunch of power tools from a friend to get some projects done. And I crushed it and I was feeling great. And then I looked at the list and I was like, A, why did it take me so long? And B, oh my God, there's so much more. Like immediately just downtrodden on myself that I should have done it sooner. And what was I waiting around for? And I'm being so stubborn because I didn't want to borrow the tools. I wanted to buy the tools, just ridiculous things instead of just relishing the power tool high and going for it. And that was my first reaction. Instead of just enjoying the moment and looking at my proud work, like, oh, that looks great up there. Finally got it done. I looked down at the list and was like, oh my God, so much more that I should be doing because I was putting everything away. And I kicked myself for it.
What's it like reflecting on all that right now?
It seems a little bit silly. I mean, there's not enough hours in the day. I'm a single mom. I have my own business. I have a job, 2 kids. The fact that I got it done at all, I should have just, just gone with that moment and just enjoyed that and dealt with the other things at the appropriate time.
Yeah. Who can relate? Like, right? Like it's like, Holly was talking about the too much side that can keep us more quiet or hidden at times. And then there's that not enough side. It's all very universal. This isn't genderized. This is very universal. And there are moments, this is just part of being human. And this is our work, right? If we want to be more mindful and well, this is the work. This doesn't just happen because we read a fabulous meme on Instagram, that. And so what I hear there is, the shoulds get in the way, don't they? The shamey shoulds. They can rob us of that moment so quick. I mean, I hear you. And then like give you a mirror, you're like, oh my goodness, girl, like you just totally lost that moment of celebrating your accomplishment and got lost in all the things we're supposed to do, who we should be, and I should have done more and all of it. And then blah. Yeah. Yeah.
That's a buzzkill.
Total buzzkill. Total, right? And then it takes the wind out of your sails. And then it's like, we kind of eventually might dabble into that area of like, well, what's the point of doing anything? Right? And that kind of withdrawal, that kind of like, right? The sluggish, that's where that comes from. It starts, with a should here and there, a lack of, recognizing your own self, your own, your worth, your accomplishments, your successes, because we're constantly watering it down because we're supposed to, somebody's telling us we're supposed to be doing more.
I think that was a huge takeaway for me through all of this was like, instead of like pausing in the moment and looking back and celebrating what I've accomplished, I'm always thinking like, what's next? What do I have to do next? What's going to make me good enough? Like, it was an awesome realization.
Yay, I love it. I love it. What a great, another one that, okay, well, I did this, what's next? I can definitely resonate with that of like, oh, I reached that goal. Okay. What's next? There's not really like, just absorbing and really loving that moment that just takes us out of the moment and into the future. What's next? What I should be doing. And whew, it's a lot of energy rather than being really present with, again, honoring where am I today? Where am I in this moment? Things might need to look a little different when we're living in a time of a very unclear, confusing pandemic. We have wildfires outside our doors. We have stressful, work and family situations. Do we ever account for how we might need to adjust our expectations? Oh, we're just supposed to be expected to run where we are when we're really just, our cup is so full and overflowing. That's not really fair or healthy. So adjusting, and this is this really powerful word of grace, right? Grace and compassion of being a human being, and letting down some of these heavy perfectionist expectations. Yeah, it's a powerful, grace. I mean, gosh, I could spend like a whole day workshop on that, which maybe we should do. But right, like just think about like giving yourself a bit more grace. What about giving yourself a bit more love and recognition? And this doesn't have to get, woo-woo-y hippie-ish. It's like, no, really, like respect yourself enough to love yourself. And to be able to look at yourself in the mirror and say, you know what, maybe I'm having a really hard day and a stressful time, but I'm a good person in here. And I'm trying to do my best. And I think I might need to like recognize that a little bit, especially because my stress is high. What would that be like? What would that be like if you just met yourself with a little bit more grace and tenderness and just said, you know what, you're doing a pretty damn good job with all this. What might that do to those stress numbers? I mean, I don't know. We might just have to try it. I don't think it will make them go higher, but I'm open to being wrong. What do you think that would be like? What would that look like in your life? I mean, a couple people share of if I were to be a little bit less shouldy, not so worried about too much, not enough. What might that do for you?
I think for me, it creates a sense of relief. Even when you ask that question, and my mind immediately went to everything I did wrong.
Yes.
And it kind of becomes this tornado, like a storm that you can't get out of. And that question, once I realized what the question actually was, it got me out of the storm, and I was able to step out, and it really is like a relief, like a weight lifted off the shoulders. And I think we
Wow.
do forget to celebrate the little things, the everyday things that we continue to muster up to do, whether it's making the bed or meditating or working out or drinking enough water or
Yeah.
whatever it may be. And so that reminder to celebrate those things, I think is super important.
Yeah, and I really, celebrate. I don't know, Ian. I mean, yeah, man, throw a party. Yeah, do it. But like, even just recognize that can go so far. And I want to be careful there, because this is what we do so often. We minimize. And so you said the little things. No, get rid of little and just allow it to be what it is. You with me? Like the small things, or we'll say, oh, just a little bit. These are all modifiers that actually keep us more pulled back, hidden, and downplayed. And that's why I said, let's own it, right? I had you re-say it, and like own what you are proud of, own what you did well, and get rid of, I just made my bed today. No, I made my bed today. And that helped me feel like a good day. I ate well. I ate better. That candy was calling, and I was able to refuse it today. Like, right on. I really recognize this with yourself, because when we're not first recognizing it here, what ends up happening, and maybe you'll see this in your own pattern or patterns with people you love and know, is we start to really get kind of we start to seek it outside, which isn't in and of itself a bad thing. We all need, reciprocal relationships and reflections of recognition. But when we're not giving it here, we become almost like scarcity, and we start to grasp, and we start to get resentful, and like, you're not recognizing me enough. And we start to take all that's in here and throw it out at other people, when really it's probably your own self that needs to do a better job of recognizing your own self. You with me? Yeah. So watch for that. It's tricky. You know, a lot of the stuff we put out at other people first starts here. It's not the only thing. I'm not on that bandwagon of love. You just need to love yourself. No, but we do need to do it so that we're more stable and congruent in relationship, if that makes sense. If it doesn't, be sure to tell me. Be like, I don't know what the heck you're saying, lady. Like, what? So work with that a little bit. Work with, you know, this is where, like, you know, gratitude journals are wonderful, those practices, and just even a pause in your day where you just say, you know what, I recognize I did this pretty well. And you really need to pull this one out when you're in a tougher, you know, spot, when you're feeling down, when you're feeling worried, when you're hopeless and just in those darker places. This is where it's the practice of, well, hold on. Remember that girl Jessica said, maybe there's something I did well today. And you can use this in your relationships. It's such a beautiful gift, but not as a tool of dismissal to yourself or others. Well, it's not all bad. Like, come on, like we all know those people that are like, always see the bright side. Well, that's that dismissal and bypassing I was talking about earlier of not honoring the truth of where we are. Like, this really sucks. This is heavy stuff we're dealing with. We need to acknowledge the heck out of that and say, you know, there might be glimmers. There might be fireflies of goodness. I wonder if we could catch a few. That's a bit different than, can't you see the bright sun? You know, like, we got to be realistic. Here we got John. Does this go with how we accept or not accept compliments? Well, what do you mean? Say more.
You know, it's taken me several years, but being able to accept a compliment and actually just turn around and say thank you and accept it instead of blow it off or minimize it, which is what I did for so long. And it's honestly taken me a long time to actually just say thank you and accept a compliment. Does that go hand in hand with the acceptance of, hey, I did something today. This is an accomplishment that I can be proud of? Do those hook together?
Yeah, I think there's something there. Can you actually speak to, because I love that you're also recognizing that you worked through this, but could you reflect, John, here on why you felt a need to push away those compliments? What was that about for you?
I don't know if my brain can work all the way through that fast. I know the moment that I realized I needed to work on it. I'll go with that one. I was at a staff meeting and one of my staff members handed me a compliment and I blew it off, brushed it off. And she actually looked at me and she says, it's okay just to say thank you sometimes.
Oh, high five. Oh,
and
she helped you.
Well, and it made me realize that, you know, you do have to just accept it sometimes and again, appreciate the things that you do.
Yeah. Often here, I'll throw it out there, and I'm sure, again, guys, give them the same if that resonates with you. I think that's a common area, right? It's very, you know, one of the most vulnerable things, one of the most vulnerable places we can find ourselves in is the position of receiving, because that means we have to open up to let something in. Okay, so there's a lot of discomfort around vulnerability and really opening up our heart space to another person. And so the dismissal of compliments is usually related to that, you know, and connected to a need to feel protected, and usually, you know, some deeper maybe things around, I'm not sure I really deserve that or need that. There's kind of a push away from my own self. Like, no, let's not focus on me. And hey, as caregivers and nurturers, that's very common behavior we can all exhibit. Okay, so something to be aware of, maybe look for in your own life of, let me just take care of you, but I'm not going to let you take care of me because that might make me uncomfortable. And so, yeah, I think, yes, John, I mean, there's a direct, I think, parallel here of if I'm not going to recognize what I'm doing well and just keep beating up on myself, I would probably be very interested and curious about, so what part of me doesn't believe I'm worth it, doesn't want to get vulnerable and real and honest with myself. Those would be really, good, juicy, reflective questions. And notice that I say, what part of me? I think that's really helpful for us to remember. There are just different parts. We're a dynamic, beautiful beings that's forever changing. And really just in the moment. So, there's a part of me that probably is scared to be vulnerable and open up. Sometimes that part might feel really big. And maybe I've done work to help that part feel more comfortable. Or maybe something's happened that it's more scared now. Just notice. Just notice. That's a big practice of mindfulness too, is learning how to notice. And we talked a bit about that last time. I'm scared to open up. I have that feeling of anxiety. Let me just watch it. Like, think about, your emotions are having their own little sports game, they're playing football and you're in the stands watching, oh, wow, interesting. Wow, look at fear. It's really running with the ball right now. It's going to totally get a touchdown. Really? Oh, intercepted by joy. Now we're going this way, right? Just watch it. Just watch it, and we can get really I'll kind of end on this one, but we can get real attached to the feel good feelings, especially, come on, in spa world. And I don't mean this as a criticism, but we can be I feel good. I need to feel good all the time. And so wrapped in on it and cheering for team feel good. But it's well, just let it be. I know that yeah, I'm feeling good right now. Probably won't always. Big deal. When we loosen our grip, it really naturally becomes less of a big deal. You don't have to force it. The practice is first learning how to have a seat in the auditorium and quit trying to get on the playing field, right? Have a seat in the stands, hang out and watch, and learn to put the coach clipboard down of what plays need to happen. I'm just getting lost in this metaphor and I'm personally really enjoying it. So I hope you all are too. So that's, I just want to offer that of as we're feeling more stress, we can really cling for feel good moments, but maybe just try taking a breath, slow it down, really imagine yourself sitting down in that stadium and all right, let me just watch this for a minute. And then basically you're meditating. So there you go. Anything else? Any other questions? I have a pretty hard stop at 6 because I got to jump into another thing. But is there anything else?
Now is not the time to be shy. Anyone? We've had a couple Bueller.
And also just to share, can be really beautiful to share, like you did, Amanda, about, oh, that was a really big aha of realizing I go to what's next. If there's just one thing that maybe it impacted you or made you think differently, that can be helpful for others to hear too. Thanks, John. You're sweet.
I really liked how you talked about doing a better job of recognizing yourself will help kind of limit that need of recognition from others. I think that it's not a very conscious need. It's more of a really subconscious need of approval and recognition. And I don't think I realized that I needed that so much, and that could be kind of a root of that problem.
Oh, I love that. Oh, good. Yeah, play with that, Alexandra. Just see what happens, right? Love that. Cool. I was going to say to stay in the loop, because I'm always trying to be kind of creative and innovative with a lot of virtual stuff, events here in the Vail Valley. I'll type in my Instagram. That's the best way to really stay connected. So would love to see you guys on there and stay connected there for other, you know, events. I'm kind of hosting some online free meditations and things like that. So would love to see your faces in there. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, your Instagram is awesome.
Oh gosh, thank you.
Oh, I love it. I love seeing everything that you post and the little, you know, mindful reminders. There's a lot of things in there. They're great. They pop up in my feed all the time, and I'm like, oh gosh, I must have done that today. Feel like I need it every day, but man, I'm so honestly grateful for this time with you again. And I know I mentioned to you off recording that we have a really busy month and a half coming up with, you know, other virtuals, but we will work together to offer another installment, maybe like expand. I love the idea of grace, maybe grace under fire. I don't know, something like that. We talked about happy holidays as another fun conversation to have leading into the madness of holidays. And I mean, I think that this time has just been super rewarding as a reminder to reflect, right? And to just sort of pause. I really remembered that from last time. And I think maybe that's why my personal stress level is more like a 5, like that 8 or 9, like everybody else. But I think it's just because I've paused and I've given myself grace to not have everything done right now that I wanted to have done with this association. And that's okay. We've come a long way in what, 2.5 months. And so it's okay that, you know, we're not everything at this moment. So, but it's thanks to you that I have those reminders. I know you've got to jump off here in a second. I've got 2 minutes left, so I will keep it short and sweet. But hey, everybody, just as a reminder, we're actually really getting into the swing of things here with our events. So every single Tuesday, we have some kind of fun event with our vendor partners. And that's typically at 5 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. You can check out our website to stay on top of what we have coming up. Next week, we have Meet the Maker, brand new company and small brand that is called, why am I blanking? Wild Air. I'm all in my mindfulness. Called Wild Air. They're going to talk about their great brand and sort of why they do what they do and why they started a spa company. The Tuesday after that, we're with Miss Amanda, who's been on this call. We're super excited about that. And then now, I would say, Jessica, I'm so excited. You have kicked off today Wellness Wednesday every other week now. So just keep a look at our calendar. We have a lot of really cool Wellness Wednesdays events coming up. And I'm so grateful for all of you taking the time out of your very busy days to join us today. And I hope to see you all again next week. Have an awesome one. And
bye, all. So good to see you. Thank you.
Thank you.